Good evening and welcome to another edition of the HGP Sport for today, the 9th of December. I am Stanford Howard. Thanks for joining us. In boxing, 15-year-old ALESHA Jackman handed defending champions Guyana its first gold medal at the 2019 Caribbean Boxing Championships on Saturday evening in the Twin Island Republic. Hear more from Samuel Gillis.
The Forgotten Youth Federation boxer, 15-year-old ALESHA Jackman, who is arguably Guyana's most promising female boxer, was again a dominant force inside the ring at the 2019 Caribbean Boxing Championships. ALESHA stopped Trinidadian Sharika Elias in her opening bout in the young women novice 64 kg category. The East Rumvelt youngster was also able to deliver a unanimous decision against Jamaica Brittany McFarlane. ALESHA displayed superior boxing skills in the fight, and although she was not as dominant as in her previous encounter, she did deliver some decisive blows throughout the 3 rounds. Even though she was aggressive in the opening round, it was not until round 2 that the southpaw stuck to her game plan and executed her 1-2s, which kept McFarlane, who had won gold last year in Guyana at the Caribbean Schoolboys and Junior Boxing Tournament, at bay. The Central High School student then kept her composure to secure the 3rd round and the contest. One of the outstanding things about the boxer was her weight class rise. She entered the competition as a junior lightweight, but because she did not have an opponent in her category, her coaches had stepped her up to the youth 64 kg. Despite the many negatives that existed around this trip for the boxers, Guyana's athletes continue to shine. For HGP Sport, I am Samuel Gillis.
In basketball, Guyana bags 3-0 over the Spice Island boys Grenada in the Goodwill International Friendly Tournament at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall at the weekend. The details in this report. The tournament was a precursor to the 2020 CBC Championships, where Guyana will be defending its title, which was won last year in Suriname. This is the first time that Grenada has been hosted by Guyana. The action, which was steamy on Friday last, saw the Guyanese team led by Stanton Rose racking up a 90-73 win over the Spice Boys. Guyana bagged 53 points in the first half with the help of Ray Victor, 39, TERRON Welsh, 19, and Travis Belgraves, 18. Night 2 was no different, which proved that Guyana's win over Grenada on Night 1 was not a result of luck, but skill. This time around, shooting guard TERRON Welsh was the man that had his hands full, netting 28, as combo guard Ray Victor continued on the same high from Night 1 to basket 16 points to help the home side to a comfortable 97-75 win to take the series 2-0 going into the final game. In the final toss-up of the tournament, Guyana, who started relatively well with a 4-point lead in the first quarter, gradually extended their lead. They racked up 35 points to Grenada's 13 and rounded out the first half with a 26 points lead. Grenada in the second half tried to play catch-up to keep the game a little closer, as they managed to scrape 25 points to Guyana's 26 in the 3rd quarter. But by then it was a little too late. The Grenadian talent didn't let up in the final quarter, as they took 23 points to Guyana's 19 to finish the night 97-91 to hand Guyana the victory. For HGP Sport, I am Stanford Howard. Thank you, Samuel. In football news, this year continues to bear fruit for local football. Most recently, the Guyana Football Federation has been invited to FIFA's head office in Zurich, Switzerland, for important meetings. Jaden Samuels with the details.
In what could be described as a good year for local football, now moves to very productive following an invitation that was received by the Guyana Football Federation from FIFA head. President Wayne Ford is off to FIFA headquarters for a series of meetings with the Director of Member Association, Mr. Varun Mosenga Omba, the FIFA General Secretary, and other top officials, a release from the GFF confirmed. Focus on the FIFA Green Building building initiative, Forward in Sustainability will be among the areas that will be looked at from December 9 to 11. The FIFA Forward program will now include in its regulations sustainable energy engineering concepts and building codes for all infrastructure projects being funded through the FIFA Forward program. The GFF president will participate in a series of think tank sessions aimed at developing these new regulations. Dealing with Guyana's immediate interest, President Ford will also be discussing the GFF's strategic priorities for competitions, capacity building, and infrastructure development. Jaden Samuels, HGP Sport.
And finally, cricket news. Jaden Samuels reports that the T20 series is now level thanks to the Fighting Windies, but the Indians are up for the decider this Wednesday.
Can the West Indies beat India in this T20 series? Well, that will be decided when the two sides break the lock on Wednesday. The Caribbean side, after winning the toss and opting to field first, kept the Indians to 170 for 7 in their allotted overs. Debutant Shivam Dubes shouldered the innings with 54 and was supported well by Rispa Pant 33, the main scorers for India. Bowling for the men in maroon, Hayden Walsh Jr. struck at crucial stages in the game for the home side, bagging 2 for 28, while Kesrick Williams took 2 for 30. In reply, Lendell Simmons anchored the chase with a well-played 64 and got the requisite support thanks to Evan Lewis at the next end, adding 40 to his stats. The last half of the chase had its fair share of fireworks, with 38 coming from Nicholas Puran and a 14-ball 23 from Shemron Hetmeyer, keeping the series alive and more so giving themselves a chance of beating the Indians. Jaden Samuels, HGP Sport.
Thank you, Jaden. That concludes this edition of the HGP Sportscast. But do remember, many men go fishing all of their lives without knowing that it is not fish they are after. Over to you, Handel. Goodbye.